We have reached almost the last segment of this chapter, which is the magnetic properties of the solid. So here we need to understand that some of the solids are having the magnetic properties. What kind of magnetic properties and why? To understand that, we need to know, see this diagram. Suppose this is a nucleus. So the electrons are revolving around it like this. So what happens? There is a magnetic moment. In physics you must have read. There is a magnetic moment which will be generated through this axis. So this is, say, electron, and this is the magnetic moment, direction of the magnetic moment. I am not going details into why it is being generated on which direction. In physics you will read that in details. My point is, if the electron, this is a nucleus, if around the nucleus electron is circulating, there will be a magnetic moment which will be generated. Let us see another one. Suppose this is the direction of the spin. Here it is. So the direction of the magnetic moment will be like this. This is a magnetic moment. So there are two things. Here. First of all, a moving electron may be regarded as a small current loop generating a small electronic field. Here you can see small magnetic field rather, and having a magnetic moment along its axis of rotation. And the second one is the magnetic moment which originates from electron spin, here is directed along the spin axis. So there will be a magnetic moment which will be generated. So what is being generated? Magnetic moment. And this magnetic moment will give rise to the generation of magnetism. Now, obviously in physics you will go through the details of it. Here two things we are only going to say. A is an electron will be a moving electron may be regarded as a small current loop generating a small magnetic field along its axis, and second is there will be a magnetic moment which originates from electron spin is directed along the spin axis. So the magnetic moments will be generated. Now, according to the magnetic behavior, these materials can be divided into three types. So let us classify them. According to magnetic behavior, they can be divided into three types. First one is diamagnetic. Second one is paramagnetic. Third one is ferromagnetic. Now there are three types of substances: diamagnetic, paramagnetic and ferromagnetic. Let us talk about diamagnetic first. So diamagnetics are the substances which are weakly repelled by the magnetic field. So it is weakly repelled by the magnetic field. Second is paramagnetic substances. So paramagnetic substances are those which have permanent dipoles and are attracted by the magnetic field. So they are having permanent dipoles and are attracted by magnetic field. Now let us talk about the ferromagnetic substances. First let us define. Ferromagnetic substances are those which are strongly attracted by the magnetic field and shows permanent magnetism even when the magnetic field is removed. So as I have said right now, the ferromagnetic substances are strongly attracted by magnetic field. Not only that, the permanent magnetism remains even when the magnetic field is removed. Now there are three types of ferromagnetism, that is also we are going to discuss. So first you write down these definitions, then we are going to discuss about little bit details into ferromagnetism. Ferromagnetism is further classified into three types. It's like ferromagnetic substances. They are further classified into three types. First one is the usual ferromagnet. Another is anti-ferromagnet. And the third one is ferrimagnet. Now, let us see why this classification has been done. To understand the reason for the classification, we must understand this particular term, domain. What it is? Carefully listen. In the solid state, metal ions of ferrimagnetic substances are grouped into smaller regions called domains. That means the metal ions which is present are grouped into smaller regions, and each small domain will act as tiny magnet. Each domain will act as a tiny magnet. Now, depending on the alignment of those magnets, tiny magnets, on the given magnetic field, the ferromagnetism, antiferromagnetism or ferrimagnetism is determined. Let us see how. So for that, let us see the case of ferromagnetism first. So in the ferromagnetism, the domains are aligned like this. In the antiferromagnetism, domains are aligned like this. If you are thinking, I have drawn only the red one, actually there is other type also, which will be like that one. And in the ferrimagnetism, domains will be like this. So what is the difference? See over here, in the ferromagnetism, all the domains are aligned in the same direction. Here, they are aligned in opposite direction in equal number. That is why the net magnetic moment will be zero. They will cancel each other. And in this case, domains are aligned in parallel as well as anti-parallel, but in unequal numbers. So there will be a net magnetic moment. So here all are aligned parallel way, here parallel, anti-parallel in such a way so that net magnetic moment will be 0, and here they are aligned as parallel as well as anti-parallel way, but the net magnetic moment will not be equal to 0 because these are unequal numbers. So this is all about the ferromagnetic substances. Again, I am telling you, in physics you are going to read that in much more details, but only this much is required as per our syllabus in the last portion of the magnetic properties of solid state. That is more than sufficient. Now we are going to solve some numericals. So in this segment we are going to solve some higher order thinking skills from solid state. So let us look at the first question. You write down the question. The first question for today is: silver crystallizes in FCC lattice if edge length of the cell is 4.077 into 10 to the power minus 8 centimeter and density is 10.5 gram per centimeter cube, then calculate the atomic mass of silver. We have started this higher order thinking skill with a comparatively easy question actually. I'm only giving little bit of hint. I hope all of you can calculate. Here we have to calculate the density, that is D is equal to Z into M by NA into AQ. So if we have to calculate the atomic mass of the silver, we have to calculate this one. So atomic mass of the silver will be D into AQ into Na divided by Z, which means, let us put the values now. So density is 10.5 into 4.077 into 10 to the power minus 8 whole cube into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Z value we should write as 4. So let us calculate how much it is coming. If you calculate carefully, you will get the value as 107.12 gram. Silver, as you know, is nearly 108. So this is the correct answer. Next question is something new type. Question is a metal, question number 2. A metal crystallizes in a face centered cubic unit cell with A is equal to 0.560 nanometer. Calculate the density of the metal. Calculate the density of the metal if it contains 0.1% of Schottky defect. It is also given atomic mass of metal is equal to 40 gram per mole. Now the question looks simple until this particular phrase. It is probably the first type of problem where we are encountering a case in which there is a defect and we have to calculate the density of the metal. So let us see how should we deal with this. We know that we have to calculate density, right? So ultimately we have to use this formula, Z into M into Na into AQ. Now the point is M given, this one we know, this one we know, Z also for FCC should be 4. But since there is a Schottky defect, if there is a Schottky defect, the vacant spaces will increase and resulting decrease in the number of atoms per unit cell. It will result in decrease in the number of atoms per unit cell, right? So it will result in the decrease in the number of atoms per unit cell. Now the point is, so we have to calculate Z first, keeping in mind that there is 0.1% Schottky defect. So let us calculate Z. So it is 4 minus 4 into, as we are calculating 0.1%. So it will be like this. So it should be 4 minus, how much it is? 0.4 divided by 100. Calculate this much. So 4 minus 0.004. It becomes 3.996. So this is the new Z value which we are going to put. Now D is equal to 3.996 into 40 gram per mole divided by 0.560 into 10 to the power minus 7 centimeter. This is the age length which is already given. Nanometer is given, so I have converted that to centimeter. Into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. It should be per mole. You should calculate this much. Calculate it. Pause the video here and calculate. After calculation, you will be getting 1.51 gram per centimeter cube. So this is the desired density that we were looking for. Next question is, in metal, third question for today. Metal crystallizes into 2 cubic phases. One is FCC, another is BCC, whose unit cell lengths are 3.5 angstrom and 3.0 Armstrong respectively. That means this one must be for A and this one must be for B. Question is, calculate the ratio of FCC and BCC. So just from the edge, unit cell length, we are going to calculate the ratio of the densities. So first thing first, let us put the formula. We know the only change. So for the first case, density of say FCC will be Z into mass of substances divided by Na into 3.5 Armstrong. Z over here for FCC should be 4. So this is equation number 1. Similarly, D for BCC should be 2 into atomic mass divided by Na into 3.0, sorry, this one should be Q, I missed that, and it should be 3.0 Armstrong unit, cube of it. So now you see, if this is the equation number 2, if we do 1:2, 1 by 2 if you do, so obviously this and that will cancel each other out. So D of FCC by D of BCC should be 4 by 2, 3.0, this one will go up, cube divided by 3.5 cube. And obviously the units will also cancel each other out. So I am not writing the units. So calculate this much, how much you are getting? You will be getting a 1.26. So this is the ratio. You have to carefully see that we don't have to put these values which is not given. They will cancel each other out just by taking the ratio of the two equations.